As we start our time of teaching today, I thought it might be fun to look at some Christmas lists made by some children, and just to see what they're asking for. So you think that'd be fun? Yeah, tell me it's fun, because we're going to do it. It's Sandy, and it's a little bit hard to see. I noticed earlier, I could see it perfectly on the computer, but not so much on the screen. Dear Santa, how are you? Well, enough chit-chat. This kid means business. And he just says, let's get on to business. This year he wants a big space Lego set, some jelly beans, okay, a shark's jacket and hat, and this one I put the arrow there. An AK-47 assault rifle. Okay, let's move on to see what some other kids are asking for. Now, if you notice at the top, if you can see, this was a list from a kid written in 1996, so some of these things might be dated, which is why he wants a Sega video game system. And then my two front teeth, but he's not actually asking for his two front teeth. You see the line below, he says a tape of that, and he draws an arrow up there. So apparently he wants a recording of that. And this is this one. A little money, like 75 in quarters. Okay, and it says some roller skates, and then it looks like at the very bottom you can barely see, somebody else wrote in there a picture of a girl. Okay, I don't know what's going on. Sandy, show us our next one. Here we got some general things. He wants, what do we got here? A toy worm, a toy dinosaur, a toy slug, a remote control dinosaur, a remote control worm. I don't know what the deal is with the worm. A dinosaur flashlight, and a book about potatoes. Yeah. One more. General things. An iPhone, right? Everyone wants an iPhone. 7 HD. I want an iPod, and 1 million pieces of shrimp. It just makes you wonder, okay? Yeah, okay, Sandy, we're done there. But kids have Christmas lists, right? We all have Christmas lists. We all have things on our list that we like, that we want to find on a tree. What's on your list that you want to find, you want to get this year? What's on your list? You're hoping you find another tree. Who's got something? Kennedy. An iPod 5. She's one of those. Sandy?
I always want peace on earth.
I can't put that under a Christmas tree for you. What's that? They give you a peace sign? All right, what are you getting under a tree, Leanne?
I want a fireplace, but Alexandria told me that she forgot to ask Santa Claus, and I have to wait for next year.
Oh, Alexandra, she's not even here for us to berate, is she? Oh, my. So we have things on our list, right? And some of the things on our list aren't things we get on a tree. Like Sandy wants peace on earth, but some of us just want a joyful, peaceful family gathering, right? And for some people, that's more difficult than for others. Finding the perfect gift to give to somebody, because that's what makes us happy, actually giving good gifts. Or maybe sharing an evening at a beautiful church lit up with candles is what you want for Christmas. Maybe what you want for Christmas is just for the season to pass by quietly and quickly, because maybe for some reason it's filled with pain for you. But whatever it is, we have something on our lists, right? We are all seeking something at Christmas, because Christmas is a season of seeking. And we even have pretty pictures, of shepherds there. It says we are seeking. And I wonder if God's presence is on any of our Christmas lists. How much are we seeking God at Christmas time? And I'm not talking about just taking the time to say, yeah, Jesus is the reason for the season, because he is. Or I'm not just saying, hey, it's Jesus' birthday, or making sure you say Merry Christmas and not Happy Holidays or Season's Greetings, because that's just evil or something. I'll take whatever you want to tell me. Now, those are all good things, but they're not seeking God. They're not going after God, are they? Seeking God means we come into his presence. It means we want to meet with God face to face. Because to be before God's face means to be in his presence. Right? And we look, the things on our Christmas list, they're pretty shabby next to this idea of being in God's presence, where everything's perfect, everything's holy, everything's good. See, the things on our list, they're not bad things necessarily. But they're not necessarily God's priorities. You see, this time of year, TV, movies, the society, culture, whatever, it puts the pressure on for you, right? You got to get things just right this time of year. And so we get carried away by this societal pressure to get it all right this time of year, to what society says. So what do? We take our eyes from seeking God, and we start seeking after all these other things that society says, hey, we need to be about this time of year. And they're lesser things, instead of seeking the things God desires. How sad. since this season, everywhere you look, is filled with symbols and events and different sorts of things that are set up to remind us to be more fully seeking God in this season. But to be deliberately seeking God. I mean, this isn't a new idea. Deliberately seeking after God is actually the centerpiece. It's like the great high point of that section of Scripture I just read you from Luke chapter 2. That section of Scripture we read every Christmas at least once. And that's the high point, seeking after God. Now we look at other things and they're exciting, right? And it's part of the story. You know the story. Mary and Joseph. Mary's pregnant, but Mary and Joseph have to travel to Bethlehem to register for a census. And they get there and the time comes for her to give birth. And there's no extra spare room for them. Or there's no room for them in the inn. So she gives birth and she has to place her baby in a manger, a feeding trough. And it's like you get this kind of setting like, oh. But then, Luke immediately switches gears. He says, there were also in that time shepherds keeping watch over their flock at night. And he says, then an angel comes and appears before them, and it starts as one angel, but soon there are a whole lot of angels, and they're there saying, glory to God in the highest, and on earth peace to man in whom his favor rests. And they're just kind of having a party up there in the sky, shouting, declaring these wonderful things that God is doing. And they give the shepherds a message. Tonight, in the town of David, which is Bethlehem, a Savior has been born. Savior! The Messiah, the anointed one, one God said he would send. God, the Lord and Master. He is born. And this is how you know who he is. You're going to find him wrapped in cloths and lying in a manger. Now, we're used to this idea of a baby being in a manger at Christmas time. So every year we need to pull back and stop and say, hey, even though we're desensitized to it, let's look at how bizarre a thing this is. Mangers, feeding troughs were disgusting, dirty, probably smelly, probably full of animal mucus and snot and all sorts of stuff you don't want, especially this time of year, right? And that's not where you put your baby, unless there's nowhere else for him to go. So the angels say, hey, this is actually a sign, because this isn't going to be duplicated anywhere else. People don't do this. So if you find this, you've got it. And the angels make sure that the shepherds know that sign. And then the angels, presumably as quickly as they appear, they're gone. Not here. And so we're just left with shepherds. Simple shepherds. And now we're left with shepherds who have a choice. You see, there's always a choice. And now we talk about there's always a choice. Seek the child or don't. Because notice in the angel's message, there's nowhere the angels give the command from God, you have to go find this baby. Nowhere the angels tell them they have to do that. They're stuck with this awesome message. God is here. He's with us. We can come face to face with him. And they have to decide whether it's good enough to just know that has happened. Is it good enough to just know that God is out there working in the world like this? Or do they go and do they seek out the baby? Do they come face to face with the presence of God? This is their decision. You see, and they had started out this evening with a list, right? They got a list of what they want, what they expect out of this evening. And I'll go, I'll watch over the sheep, I'll keep them safe, maybe feed some, hopefully, if I have to, but hopefully I won't have to fight off any sort of predator or sheep thieves or anything. They got their list, what they expect the night to be, what they want to get out of it. They show up that night knowing what they want to seek for that night. But now they have to decide. They get this news. The Messiah has come, born in Bethlehem. Is it worth leaving behind all that they had expected, all that they were seeking before? Will they leave behind the other stuff they were seeking so that they can seek the child, to come into the presence of God, to be with him face to face? And we find out their answer from Luke chapter 2. Luke tells us right out. The shepherds said to one another, let's go to Bethlehem and see this thing that has happened, which the Lord has told us about. Let's go. The shepherds thought, yes, beyond everything else we expected or wanted, this is more. So whatever else they desired at the start of the evening, this news about the presence of God is better. And so they go seeking after it, say, let's go. And the narrative continues, Sandy, if you want to show us how Luke follows it up here. So they hurried off and found Mary and Joseph and the baby who was lying in the manger. They hurry off. You see, this idea to seek after the child, seek the presence of God in our life. It's not just something that's just like, well, if I get around to it, maybe we'll just go do that. No, they hurry. This is an exciting thing. They can't wait to have this presence in their life. They hurry and they find. You see, they find a child because seeking God requires intentionality. It requires deliberate action. Let me ask you, do you ever have a kid come up to you wanting to play hide and seek, and you're like, and they keep pestering you about it, and you're like, but you're busy doing something, or you have important work to do, or you're comfortable in your chair, or whatever. And so here's what you do, right? You say, all right, you go hide, kid. And you start 1, 2, 3, and you sit there for a while, and the kid goes and hides, and you're just, every once in a while you shout out, oh, ready or not, here I come. Oh, you must have hidden really good this time, but what are you doing all along? You're still sitting in your chair, aren't you? You're comfortable in your chair, and that kid, he's hidden really good. But you're not seeking, are you? Now you're pretending, you might be pretending to at least you're playing with the kid, but you're not really playing with the kid. You're just trying to make the idea seem like a reality. Oh, I'm seem like I am really seeking, right? But seeking takes action. You have to get off the couch and find the kid. The shepherds don't just say they should seek the Son of God. They actually go and do it. They are intentional about going and doing something that's going to lead to his presence in their life. See, seeking takes action. And when they seek him, they find him. When we seek the presence of God in our lives, when we seek him with all our hearts, not half-heartedly or only in thought, but when we truly seek to see him, he will always be found. He promises us that in Jeremiah. God's not going to hide out like the kid playing hide and seek. He's going to be wide out in the open. Did you ever play hide and seek with a kid and you go to find them and they're just standing there and you're like, what are you doing? You're doing it wrong. Well, that's how God plays. And he's always there. If you go seek him, he's there to be found by you. And what joy and what reward there is in coming and finding God and seeking him out and him being there. See, this is what we read from the shepherds once they find the child. When they had seen him, they spread the word concerning what had been told them about this child. There's so much joy here that they can't contain the blessing. They have to pass it on to others and tell everyone. They spread the word about what has been told to them about this child. It touched their lives so deeply after they had sought and come into the presence of God that they had to tell everyone. Let me ask you, when was the last time you felt so blessed by God, or you felt so blessed by the presence of God in your life that you just had to go around telling everyone about it? This is what God is doing in my life right now. Sadly, for some of us, the answer might be never. And maybe we're not feeling that way because we're not really seeking the presence of God. Are we seeking God at Christmas? Are we seeking him throughout all other days of the year? Because Sandy, show us from Hebrews chapter 11, the blessing God promises us. God rewards those who earnestly seek him. And I love that word earnestly. I should have highlighted it in red and I didn't. God rewards those who earnestly seek him. You see, again, it's not just, well, if you're going, maybe I'll tag along with you. But if you're intent on it, you've put effort into it, you are rewarded. If we're not experiencing the rewards of being in God's presence, it's probably because we're not earnestly seeking him. We seek after other things instead, right? Earnestly at Christmas, we've got a Christmas list and we seek after other things. But seeking the full presence of God, it's so often not one of them. It's not one of the things we're even seeking this time of year. We put other things out there that we want to find in the manger. I told you something, I think it was last year. I'm going to retell you again, but there's a new part I'm going to tell you here at the end of it. And some of you might remember this. About 10 or 11 years ago now, my family and I, we were out shopping in March or April. We were at Boscov's. And we found this really nice nativity, nice and big. And, we opened the box and it was a nice quality and just very well made and just different. And we thought that would look nice in our house. And we're like, but we can't afford that. Except for since it was April or whatever, it was marked down 80%. And we're like, well, we can afford that. And so the price was right, and so we buy it. And we take it home. And of course, it's April. We don't get it out right away. We just take it up to the attic. And we'll get it out with the Christmas stuff. So come November, December that year, whenever it was, we were decorating, we got it out and we started getting the pieces of this nativity out and looking at it. And it was very nice. And we had all the pieces were there. And there was this extra piece. This tacky cauldron of gold, this plastic thing that, wasn't quality made like everything else. It's just like this plastic pot of gold that apparently some of the Boscovs was just cleaning up a shelf one day and just kind of, just shoved everything in this box and it got in there by accident. And we're like, how funny is that? Now, most people might have just thrown it away, not us. Every year we get out that nativity, and guess what goes in our nativity? It goes in one of the corners of the stable or something, this pot of gold. Because it's just wacky and funny, and that's how zany we are. But I told you that last year, so if you remember that, you get an A for listening last year and remembering. But here's the new part. Every once in a while, when we have that nativity out, one of us will take that pot of gold, and we'll remove the manger with the baby, and we'll hide it somewhere, and we'll put that pot of gold right there between Joseph and Mary. So, and you set up nativities like this one, like everyone's looking there, right? So everyone in our nativity is looking at this pot of gold, and we just leave it there until someone notices. And then we have a good laugh. But you know what? Sometimes a lot of time can go by. Sometimes the whole season can go by, and no one notices. You know why? Because what do you set out nativities? How often do we look closely at them once we set them out? It's nice to have there. If it's not there, we notice, right? But we just kind of walk by them and don't really notice the details. And so we do that. And it serves as a reminder for us of just how we can start walking through the celebration of Christmas without being intentional of seeking God. Just like we walk right past that manger scene, that nativity, without being intentional to see that Jesus is the center of everything. The Christ child should be the center of it all, and we should notice, if we're seeking him, how many Christmas traditions do we have that we participate in every year that started as Christmas traditions because they direct us toward God, towards seeking God, but have really just started out being things we just kind of walk through and we do. Kind of like we just walk by the pot of gold. I mean, there might be a lot out there, right? How many of your Christmas traditions that we say are there to bring us closer to God that we're just doing? I think about things like decorating a Christmas tree. Like Christmas tree, it's supposed to be a tree. Most people have artificial ones nowadays. But it's a tree, which represents wood, to represent the cross Jesus would grow up to die on. And a lot of times, that's there, and we're decorating it, and that's an opportunity for us to reflect and draw closer to God as we do that. But who's with me? When you're putting that tree up, you're not thinking about the cross. You're thinking, I can't swear because the kids are right here, right? Because you're fluffing out these branches, you're trying to get the lights all to work right, and you're just like, And this thing is designed to help us seek God, and we miss it. This year we decided to help curb that a little bit at my house as Pete and I were putting the lights on and getting all those branches where they need to be. My sister Terry helped the kids find the Gospels of Luke and Matthew in the Bibles, and the kids, they're now old enough to stumble through reading the Christmas accounts in the Bible. So as we were doing that, we were listening to the scriptures being read. And that kind of helps us, redirect that. We're seeking God as we're doing these things. And you can do it whatever way. But you're putting up lights outside. Again, that's just an opportunity to get frustrated and throw them against the wall, right? Yeah, but they represent the light of Jesus Christ that we are called to shine to the whole world. But these are just things we just start doing because it's Christmas time. You got to do them. Work, family, Christmas parties. How are we using those as a way to seek God? Certainly the giving of gifts, which is just a representation of God giving us the greatest gift, Jesus Christ. Sometimes it just becomes, I got this list, I got to get something for everyone on this list, and I hate buying for that person, and no, don't even get me started on that person, and this person always gets me something stupid, so I'm not even going to try this year. And we get all these gifts, right? And then we're like, now I have to wrap all these stupid things. It's got to get done before Christmas, or whenever I'm seeing them last before Christmas. And it's not a way to seek God. It just turns into something else we do. These are our pots of gold this time of year. Do we just walk right through them, not noticing the emphasis is wrong? That the reason they are there, to help us seek God at Christmas time, that's completely bypassed. There are so many other things we could seek at Christmas besides the Christ child, besides seeking after the presence of God in our life. In our hearts, so many of us take that manger and we move it and we kind of put that pot of gold there instead, something else. Replace it with whatever it represents. Some gift you expect to find under the tree, or the perfect family, perfect spouse, relationship, kids, perfect house, job, popularity, power, prestige, wealth. You name it. What are we seeking? When those are the things we're seeking at Christmas time, that pot of gold is the center of our nativity scene. And the reward for all those things is fleeting. It goes away. Even if you get it, it goes away quickly. Take my niece, Jana, for instance. Jana turned, 8? She's 8 now, November 1st. And leading up to that, she was like all about the movie Jurassic World, because before the movie came out in the summer, she had watched Jurassic Park with me and all the sequels, and she loved these movies. She loved seeing the dinosaurs. Then we took them to see the movie when it was in the theater, Jurassic World, and she loved it. So leading up to her birthday was when the DVD release and the Blu-ray release was coming. And so she'd go into the stores and she'd see all these promotions for it, and she's like, is that Jurassic World? Oh, how wonderful. So being the great uncle I am, I said, I will buy that for her birthday on Blu-ray and DVD. So I get it for her, and she opens it, and she's elated. She's like, let's watch it now. It's like, no, sweetie, we have to finish opening presents. We have to eat cake, because I'm not giving up cake for anything. And then we'll watch it. So finally we get through all that. She's like, let's watch it. So we put it in, and we're watching it, and we get about halfway through it, and it's the kids' bedtime. And so we got to get them into bed so they can get up for school next morning. So we said, we'll watch the other half some other time. And Jane's like, I really wanted to watch now. She finally has it, right? We put them to bed, and she hasn't asked me to see that movie ever since. Yes, I know. But it's fleeting, isn't it? It's like, that excitement. It's so much like what we seek. When we get it, it leaves us wanting. It's the case with all the rewards we seek at Christmas, other than the Christ child, that God with us, that presence of God. So what's on your Christmas list? What are you seeking this Christmas, is the question. Are you seeking what the world tells you is important? You must have this. Or are you seeking the presence of God? Is this season just about celebrating? Or is it celebrating with a purpose? Using all that the season offers to seek after God. Having an Advent-driven life means we are seeking God in all things and in all seasons. In closing, I'll direct you to a passage from Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol. Scrooge, having been visited already by the ghost of Christmas past, is wakened in the middle of the night again by this bright shining light coming from the other room. And he goes in, and there's the ghost of Christmas present. He's big, and he's jolly, and he's got all this bounty all around him, food beyond belief all around him. And it's this great thing, and he's shining brightly. And the ghost says to Ebenezer Scrooge, come in and know me better, man. Christmas time. It's God's time. He says to us, seek me. Come in and know me better. Let's pray.